It is West Coast Avengers. The Avengers with a different area code. This is issue 3 of the miniseries by Roy Sternman. And it was this which was the first Avengers back issues I read. This miniseries. So I have some nostalgia for it, but I am going to say something that will likely immediately divide people, and that is, I think this might be Roy Sternman's worst Avengers story. It's still good enough, but it definitely feels like his least glorious. I will come back to that. But here we have the Avengers in the aftermath of the Big Four story from Simon Waltonson's run. Very nicely sprinkled throughout the Marvel line. There was a huge four thing going on. And so the weather went batty in most of the Marvel books. Some of them, like this, more directly acknowledged and made reference to the events in Thor's series, whereas Spider-Man and some others just happened to have wild weather. In fact, on the main Avengers title, Roy Sternman had an issue, 249, that was a full-on tie-in to that story. Right, so here is my assessment. I do not feel Roy Sternman is too interested in all these characters. Hawkeye and Wonder Man, they are explored and they are developed. He obviously is invested in them. Iron Man, who is Roddy Rhodes in this, and I love that. My favourite Iron Man automatically. He has some character beats. The women, Cheetah and Mockingbird, they don't fare as well. Especially when you consider how much focus is given to Wonder Man throughout the 4 issues. Here is one of those Roddy Rhodes scenes. He reveals to Cheetah that he isn't actually Robert Downton Abbey Jr. in a badly coloured scene where his black skin is coloured the same red as his armour. I think most of the attention given to Roddy Rhodes, it was more the case that he was an Iron Man who wasn't Robert Downton Abbey Jr., rather than because it was Roddy Rhodes. One thing that always, and I mean always, fucking grated on my ballsack was when they did the West Coast Avengers ongoing after this, Roddy Rhodes is just gone, and Robert Downton Abbey Jr. is back as Iron Man. And in the first issue, they don't even acknowledge that change. Our bad guy is Count Gravity from them Thunderbals comics I've looked at. And Roy Sternman writing Count Gravity. It should be a cause for celebration. And Count Gravity is decent enough in this story. I just feel like the team that he gangs up against, they aren't powerful enough to really be the challenge they are presented as. Wonder Man, obviously, he is. and I will grant you Iron Man too. But the rest of the West Coast Avengers are very, very underpowered. Maybe that is a wider criticism of this team overall. 3 out of 5 of the members are not capable of much besides hand-to-hand brawling. I would have liked to see Count Gravity mix it up with the Under Siege or the Assault on Olympus lineups from the main series. A lot, and I mean a lot, of Wonder Man here. I like Wonder Man. I was having a discussion with someone about why I like Wonder Man exactly, and it took me quite a while to work out why. For this, for most of West Coast Avengers, I found them quite boring and something of a spotlight vacuum. The only thing I can think of is that when I eventually read the Jimothy Shooter stuff, his first run on Avengers, that was when I started liking Wonder Man. It feels like I had to have liked him before that though, and I just cannot work out why. I also reasoned that it is possible that I started liking him because Amanda the Enchanter is often brought into his solo stories. Cheetah, on the other hand, I do not like this character. Maybe it is the case that she can never escape the Steve Englehart run, where she was deplorably written, but she sadly ranks near the bottom of my list of Avengers that I like. Wonder Man and Cheetah, they began to visit Blind Batman. Blind Batman was the sort of secret member of this team. He was offered membership in the first issue, but turned them down. Then continues to have association with the team. He was meant to keep hanging around, but Steve Englehart dropped him. And then later, Marky Mark retconned it that he had maintained contact with the team and he regularly met with Hawkeye to share information about the LA underworld. He should count as an honorary Avenger. Jorge Perez agreed, but Tom Beevor didn't. And so he hasn't been counted as having any official Avengers title since the time Jorge Perez drew him on a poster and then Tom Beevor removed him from that poster. Blind Batman is interesting in a way. He definitely has an intriguing setup of being undercover in the Los Angeles criminal underworld. And the fact that he was created solely because people would often refer to Daredevil as a blind version of Batman. That is half amusing. And here, him and the two Avengers are met by Count Gravity and a fight breaks out. Notably, Blind Batman, he joins in and responds as if he is an Avenger. And now I am splitting hairs here. Most people probably don't consider Blind Batman as anything more than a part-time ally. And I am maybe getting hung up on one Jorge Perez bit of art and a press poster at the time that had blind Batman with the team. But having read so much Avengers, I see a character like this and his involvement with the team, and it is no lesser than two gun kids or the Galactical Guardians who do hold membership with the Avengers. Sorry, I get hung up on minutiae like that. He is the second most useful against Count Gravity here, but it is Wonder Man who is the main challenge. But even he is subject to the whims of Gravity. So Count Gravity, he craps all over the three heroes, while the rest of the team are having one of their barbecues. I love our ending though. Count Gravity has taken Wonder Man hostage and is using gravity to keep him submerged under a pool. Wonder Man doesn't have to breathe, so it's not going to kill him. But Count Gravity doesn't quite know that. I will state again, this isn't bad. I like it. But as a set of characters, they do not really come together. At least the way the main team lineups under Roy Sternman do. I wonder if Roy Sternman should have simply put Hawkeye and Wonder Man on the main team, as they are the ones he clearly has something to say about. In this issue, for example, Mockingbird doesn't do much of anything. It is Roy Sternman. What there is in this issue is quality, and the Avengers are a team that can and should have 2 titles. And this is better than the first few years of the ongoing. So even if this is not perfect, I will concede and give it 7 thumbs up.